Hello, PlayBASIC coders. Still working the website, still fixing up some problems with it as of today, actually. You might be aware that we've had the internal logs running on the main site now for most of the month. And we'll have a look at the output. What we're seeing is the current month, so we're in November. But what I wanted to take a look at, look at page stats, you can get an overall view. So we've had 9,000 views in 3 days of November. The percentages are, source code is the highest view page, index is the next, and errors are the third. So there's a lot of incorrectly indexed things at some point. You can specify, how many downloads we have. We've had 4 downloads in the 3 days. That's not bad, actually. That's 6%. So it's better than normal in general. I would say if you can get around a 2%, 3% download rate, because there's multiple clicks you have to go through to download something. And given we're a product that is a legacy product, not a cutting edge product, it's a hard conversation to win for most people. What I wanted to show you is the newer part, which is the user agents, and we get a quite disturbing dose of reality. So in that 9,000 views, this is the raw number of views in the bottom here, 9681. So the number of log entries that have been made in the past 3 days. It's the 3rd of November today. But what we can see is that 93% of the traffic that's hitting PlayBASIC.com is non-human. 93%. So 75% of the traffic generated in the last 3 days is made by one bot, just hitting the site constantly. There you go. It's pretty terrifying. There's a lot of other bots in there too. And the other ones there I suspect are bots. That one there looks like a bot. Anything that's unknown has a robot tagged in its user agent string, which is this string here. Every time you look at a web page, your browser sends a user agent string with it, so the website can get some idea of who and what this is coming from. I mean, it can be spoofed, but it's just a nice, polite thing to do. Googlebot has been to the site less than 1% of the time within the last 3 days. And when it does come, it only views a handful of pages. So what I will do is I'll expand this out to give us the pages Googlebot actually went to. I've got Applebot having a look. And Bing has been actually the one that's been indexing us the most in recent times, which is interesting because Bing hardly ever used to index the website. So what I can do now is I can change the date, so I can go back to last month, so I can see the stats. These are actually off the website. So again, very high percentage of robot activity. So out of about 30,000 visits for October, which is light, it's not great. If you took the traffic from pb.com and underwear design, you're getting up there, some decent numbers, but we do have to have a lot more traffic than we have at the moment to compensate for this problem here, this robotic nonsense. So in October, Googlebot was seen in the logs 1,500 times, and given that the help files alone are 1,200 pages, it hasn't looked at the whole website yet, and that's evident by when you go to Google and search for PlayBASIC.com, you can find the pages only if you know they're there. And a lot of things you can't find because they're just not present, which is really quite frustrating, to be honest. General page stats. Gives you a view count again, what pages were looked at the most, and we can cut that down to, just show me the source code pages, thanks. So the index of the source code page is the highest viewed, 58%. The most viewed page at 1% is 3D file lines. Pretty low. 33 views across that October. Have you got to factor in that, that 60% of those 33 views are probably bots? It's very few people. Scary, isn't it? I say that because we have to have this healthy traffic source of real people looking at the website in order to make the sales aspect work. That's the reality, The number of people visiting the order page in October was 135. So you could probably say that, if 66% of those were bots, so you probably got, let's say about 40 out of those was people actually wanting to look at the order page. The general ratio for conversions is less than 1%. Per 100, you could expect to have about one sale per 100. Pretty challenging. There's a lot of so on the help files here, there's been a lot of traffic, but because there's a deep number of pages, it's disproportionate, really. So out of our 30,000 views for the month, 12,000 of those are help files. And they're a very small number of pages. In other words, these robots have just been stepping through the pages because they can. The odd downloads in there. An attached example. So the bots are just following every link they possibly can, just following them all through. So they'll end up with downloading files from the site. Heaps. Yeah, there you go. They've been viewed once. So one of the robots has been through there and just grabbed them all. So external referrers for October. There's an awful lot of garbage coming in here. The vast majority of this is just garbage. In other words, when it's unknown, it means that string is not defined in the incoming data. So we don't know where 80% of these links came from. We've got 1% from Bing. That's really surprising. I'm surprised that 400 clicks came from Bing. And that's double what's coming from Google. I'm amazed at getting anything from Google. I mean, our ranking on Google at the moment is a complete and utter garbage. It's like the more effort I put into this crap, the worse the results get. They just are non-existent. And our links in from external websites are non-existent. There's just no one out there who has links to PlayBASIC. There used to be heaps, but over time, things have changed, I guess. A lot of those download sites we used to use all the time, that we had, download pages on, they're all gone. Right, so we're getting, our little log view is getting better, and we started to get more and more. I had to optimize this. I had to optimize the log viewer because it turned out that having the text green, and I was calling this huge block of text that's being generated from the routine. I thought, well, maybe it's the sorting that's pretty slow because it was just the roughest guts sort routine I just chucked in. Thought that'll do. Because this is not for people to see, it's just for me to see. I mean, I don't really care. And then you find that, it was taking 10, 15 seconds to view a page. It's like, that's weird. And even online, it was taking, a fair while to view a page. It turned out to be this having this green text highlighted here If we go to, just trying to find a bit of code actually. Here, what I had before is that this little ratio here, this percentage, was had the square bracket green tags around the outside of it. Which I think this is down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. So what would happen is you generate this big block of text with this markup links in them. There's these. Effectively, it's just this. You just have, green around "Hello World" in your text, and when you call the phrase to output the HTML to the browser, it would run through and work out how to insert those colors. So the colors are set up somewhere else, and we've got a palette of these colors, and we can just change the palette until we feel like. So if we use if we use those tags, we'll always get the same coloring throughout the site. But as it turns out, when we go to output this page, it's doing a brute force replace of green, I reckon. I'm not quite sure now. I think it's just doing a search replace on green and then search replace on this. It shouldn't. No, it's pretty naff. But again, when it's written, and I don't really recall now, this phrase page function has been. So what I do now is, rather than dump the green tags out every single time, I just have a little prototype up here. I compute that as a bit of HTML and then do a replacement in here of the pre-processed HTML. So we're not dumping and doing thousands and thousands of green replacements in the output code. As a result, it just pretty much works straight away. Let's go back up here. When you went to, we went to change the date. If we went to October, went to page stats, there's like a 10-15 second delay between. There's 30,000 lines it's got to display, but that's a lot of replacements. Clearly whatever that code is doing is choking it to death. Like, string thrashing is really, it's terrifying really at the best of times, but I wasn't expecting that to be that bad. So I must actually go through some of this other template stuff and make sure I'm not actually brute forcing anything where I shouldn't be. Because the last thing I want is the server the template stuff to be, taking up too much time and consuming too much resources on the server. Because if we get more and more popular, we run the risk of the server running pretty slow, and just because it's some legacy crappy old code from a good old string replacement. Anyway, that'll do me for today. I just wanted to show you those things and make you aware of the user agent problem, and that when we talk about traffic, we really have to. This is not really useful traffic. Almost none of this, really. 20,000 visits is basically useless. We're at 2,000 F and Bing, so I'd say probably 15,000 visits of that traffic. Time and money is being consumed by robots that I'm paying for. They aren't doing us any good. They're not helping our search rank on Google, not bringing people in on a daily basis. It's just not happening. So there's lots of work to be done, and how are we going to tackle this? I'm not quite sure. But the same thing's happening on the forum too, as you know. You might not have ever noticed to the extent, but some days there's just, I'd go away for a few hours and come back, and there'd be 100 bots that are signed up on the boards, all with just randomized names, etc. every single time. It's all garbage. Since I made the board, the sign up a bit more complicated to sign up on, that stopped that. the odd one gets through, and the odd person has got through as well. But yeah, it shows the difference between the pretend demand and the actual demand. The actual demand is very low. Something we really have to wrap our heads around. It's very low at the moment. So to improve that, it's going to take some pretty big changes, or some pretty big incentives to third parties. I don't know, not sure. But that'll do for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.